I am gonna break down for you exactly why. Like, even if you're starting to see some initial progress, even if in the kindergarten year, it looks like your kid is learning how to read, why in the long term, first grade, second grade, third grade, high school, college, career, why in the long term, teaching a child to read by memorizing sight words as the first and the primary way of teaching them is a bad idea. It is something you should stop doing. I don't take a lot of stances like this, but I'm going to take a stance here and say this is not the place to start, okay? Now, depending on where you're coming into this video, you may be like off put by that. you might be like, Spence, I am not going to change. I will never change. And I'm going to teach how I teach it, okay? That's what you think. Just turn the video off. Not going to be for you. Not going to be helpful, okay? Or you may be open to hearing me out. You might be open to change and be like, okay, if you can give a really compelling reason, then I'll go with you. I'll watch it, okay? And for the folks who are like, no matter what you say, Spencer, I'm not going to change. Like, I used to be like that, okay? With sight words. I used to teach kindergarten. We had a list of 60 tricky words, we called them, that our kids needed to memorize. And I was all about it. Do you know why? I didn't know any better. And when you teach a kid to memorize a list of words, it is something that you can really quickly and easily see what they're learning. You can see day 1, they knew 1. Day 2, they knew 2. Day 3, they knew 3. And that feels amazing. If you've ever taught your little one sign language or specific words or other skills, you know how amazing it is to be able to count their progress. Not everything you can count. Sight words you can. It feels great, right? I thought I'd never change, then I learned better, okay? It's kind of like in high school. Growing up, I used to wear a lot of pastels, okay? I had a very flamboyant wardrobe, okay? A lot of pastels, a lot of khakis. That's how I did things, okay? My dad, he dressed in black and gray. I had a conversation with my dad. Why do you dress like that? He said, son, someday you're gonna dress like this too. I said, no, I won't. You're not gonna catch me wearing black. Never, right? You get old, shit happens, right? Things change. You learn more, okay? Sight words, same way, right? Maybe right now you're wearing pastels, we're gonna get you into some black, okay? We're gonna figure this out together. So here's the first thing you need to know about why this is not a great idea, okay? When you teach a sight word, let's take this really common one, and this is one that people comment on my page sometimes, okay? This word says like. And the reason why some folks have this on their sight word list is they say, okay, let's just memorize this, because what a kid is gonna say is licka, and they need to know it doesn't say licka, it says like. So they say, okay, let's memorize the word like. Now, if a child has not been taught anything else, you haven't taught them their sounds, you haven't taught them how to blend sounds together into words, what you do when you teach them to memorize a word is you're teaching them to look at all 4 sounds as one unit, as one thing. You're teaching them to see the word as a chunk, and every time they see the word as a chunk, they say the word. They say like. They see the word, they say the word, okay? What we know for a fact is that learning to read is a process of moving from left to right with our eyes. Our eyes move left to right as we read a word, and then we put the sounds together. So if we have a word, let's put a similar word that is not tricky, like the word lick, for example. If you want a child to read this, they're gonna need to be able to go like this, like lick. That's the process of reading. Your child is gonna see 3 chunks. They're gonna see 1, 2, 3. Lick. And when you see words as made up as individual sounds, it means you can switch those sounds. And it's not gonna matter, right? Now it says mick. We know it says mick because we go left to right. I can switch the last sound and put t. And they're still gonna be able to read the word it, mit, no matter how many times we change. When you know the letter sounds and how to blend letters together, you can read almost any word in the English language. We learn the sounds, we learn how to blend them, right? But when we learn words as a chunk, back to the word like, when we learn the word like as a chunk, they are not looking left to right and blending, they're looking at this whole thing. Visually, their eyes are looking at all the sounds at once, and they're just saying the word like. And the problem with that is if you were to change the L to an M, now the kid's not going to say anything. They didn't know that this I said I, or that this K said K, or that the E said nothing. They didn't know any of that. All they knew was the whole unit said like. And as soon as you change that whole unit, they're not going to be able to read it. So look at it like this, okay? If my fingers are the sounds, and we typically read the sounds from left to right and blend them together, this is what a child learning to read the right way is going to be able to do. And I can change this sound, I can change this sound, I can change this sound, I can change this sound. It's not going to matter. They're going to be able to read it. If they are used to reading as chunks, then this is all they're going to see. They're only going to see one thing. If I change this sound, now it's different. They have no idea. If I change this sound, now it's different. They have no idea. If I change this sound, now it's different. They have no idea. Okay? They haven't been taught to do this. Okay? They don't know how to actually read. And here's the thing. Can kids learn words together? Can they learn to memorize sight words? Yes, they can. Can they learn to memorize every word in the language that they're going to see? No, they can't. So on the one hand, you're like, okay, sight words are measurable. They're quick. They help make complicated words seem easy. And I'm with you. I get it. On the other hand, there are simply too many words to memorize. You get that kindergarten list of 60, you memorize it. You get that first grade list of 100, you memorize it. Now your kid knows 160 words, okay? Out of millions. That's not enough. They're not going to be able to read. And furthermore, okay, let's make a couple quick points. When a kid learns to read by memorizing sight words, they're going to be very likely to guess. So if they get to a word that they don't know, they're going to guess at it. They're going to say whichever sight word that word looks like, and they're going to be wrong, okay? Let's say they get to a completely different word, like a word that looks like none of the sight words they've ever seen. They're going to shut down. They're not going to say anything. Or they're going to say, I give up, or I don't want to do it, right? When you teach a kid the shortcut, before you teach them the path, they're going to want to take the shortcut every time. They're not going to want to take the path. It's harder, right? Sight words are like a shortcut to reading. It is not the full path, and it's not going to give them the skills to read new words. If you want your kid to be able to pick up a book, any book, and read it, they need to know how the process of learning to read works, okay? That is number one. If they know how learning to read works, there might be situations in which you want to teach them some tricky words, okay? And when you do that, what you're going to do is, if we go back to that word like, okay? There's lots of different words here, but I'm just using the same word to make the example really easy and to make it make sense, okay? If your kid can already read, they know the sounds, they know how to blend, and they get to this word and they're having trouble getting it, we can help explain why it says what it says. We're not just teaching them to just memorize it as a unit. We're going to help to explain and let them know when you see this word, it's the E that's making the I say I, right? It looks like lick, but it's actually like. We explain the rule, so the next time they see the rule, they can learn it, right? We can look at another word that's on a lot of lists, right? The word my. And the word my is on a lot of lists because it looks like yeah. And that doesn't make sense, right? But if we teach them the rule, we teach them when you see a Y at the end of a word, it doesn't say yeah. It either says E or it says I. And in this word, it says I. Now try blending it. I. In this case, when we teach the tricky word, we're not teaching them to just look at it and say my. We're teaching them to look at this sound and say to look at this sound and say I. We're teaching them the rule for how to blend, okay? So if you came to this video and you are like, Spence, I wanted to learn how to teach sight words, my biggest advice for you is if your kid can't read normal words, stop. Don't do the sight words, okay? Number two, if your kid can read some normal and can read some regular words and they're ready to start getting some sight words, do words like my that are going to be kind of tricky, okay? Don't do words like and or like red that are going to be really easy to read. Do words that are going to be tricky for them, okay? Those are going to be the words that need to be explained. Number 3, as you're teaching, don't just show them to memorize all the sounds at once. Show them exactly where that word is tricky and what to say instead. If you follow these 3 steps, teach them how to read first, okay? Only pick words that are tricky, and then explain why those words are tricky. You're gonna spend a lot less time having your little one memorize words and a lot more time watching your little one actually read those books on their own. So hopefully, y'all, this makes sense. I say it after every video, but what I really try and do is make this stuff really, really, really simple for you to understand. I hope this makes sense. I can go for hours on this topic. So if you have questions, if you have comments, if this isn't super clear, let me know. I will just tell you straight up the number of families I have worked with where I have been the person sitting across from them at a desk saying, your kid can't read. And I've been the person watching the reaction on their faces. It is not a fun place to be in, okay? So I know I'm challenging some of you. I know I'm pushing in a way, but it is out of love, okay? It is out of love because I don't want to see your little one going to 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade with a false sense of security in their reading. And if you're a teacher, I get it, right? I get that it's tough to change, but I don't want to see your children learning the shortcut before they learn the full path, right? I want to see them learn the path. Then I want to see you explain the shortcut, right? I want this to make sense for them too, okay? If you've got questions, please feel free to let me know. In terms of how I can support you, a lot of my work is helping parents teach their kids these beginning stages even before the sight words, okay? Before we get to any of this tricky stuff, is teaching them how to learn the sounds, how to blend them together. I've got a free training for how to do that. I've got a ton of free resources for how to do that too across all my social media stuff. It's all over. You'll get some really clear, simple information for how to teach the sounds, how to blend them together, okay? If you want to take a step past that, I've got full courses, okay? Full course, how to learn sounds, full course, how to blend words together, okay? If you think the YouTube videos are good, the course, way better, way better. 2 hours, full lessons, me doing this stuff with kids. You're gonna walk away like, I know exactly what to do, how to do it, and I feel motivated to get started, okay? So if you want more support, you can definitely check out those courses too. But you should be walking away from this video knowing either my kid is not ready to even touch this yet, which I think most folks are gonna be at, or if they are ready, I know not to show them the word like this and just have them say the word, but I know I need to be explaining the different sounds and different parts of that word so they can read more words like it in the future, okay? Hope this was helpful for you. Hope it makes sense. Let me know. And until next time, I will talk to you soon.